This is some creepy ass shit. Hello everyone, it's me Goose. How you doing? So, first of all, I know many of you are very sick of my Overwatch stuff. Listen, I know I just still need to get organized with my videos and such, so I can't really do anything complex until I get used to the program that I'm using. So please wait, I'm trying things out. Also, I kind of have a job right now, so that's, gotta do that. But yeah, regardless of that, thank you for sticking around, and thank you all for subscribing. I love you all very much, and let's get right to the news. So, some Sombra shit has happened today. Quite a bit of Sombra shit. Well, let's get back on track. Let's get those people who are unaware of this whole Sombra ARG thing back to speed, back on track with all of us, at least from the past week. So if you don't know, there's this whole ARG going on with Sombra. Some of you may be asking what an ARG is. Well, an ARG essentially is like a game that takes place outside of the game. It's like a meta game kind of thing where you have to solve puzzles and do really weird shit just to get this thing going. It's kind of complex to describe, but essentially it's just a game outside the game. Now, we had a weird bit of code on the tracer thing on Tracer, or I don't know, the blink. It's just that little trail right there, and she has a bunch of code there, and when people tried to decipher it, it turns out that we needed a password. Now, of course, I haven't really been doing anything. I've been just cracking the whip, but everyone else has been doing a laborious effort of trying their best and just doing their absolute damnedest to solve this, and they've been working so hard that there's been infighting, and man, people have been getting really cranky. And then there was this thing with Sky Code, and listen, I did a whole rant about Sky Code last time I recorded this. I'm not going to go into that rant again because it'll just make me sound very venomous. So I'll just say it this way. Sky Code was a mistake, and people learn from their mistakes, and I very, very honestly believe that we can learn from this. One thing, the biggest lesson that you should all learn is maybe don't take people too literally, especially not the director of the game. I think from now on, and I pledge this to anybody listening, anybody in Game Detectives, anybody in the Sombra ARG server, I am proposing to you all, please do not listen to any of the developers on this. As long, if there's a message that says, hey, this email isn't part of the ARG, stop doing that, okay, listen to them. But how about don't listen to them when it comes to the ARG, because it is very clear that they're not working on this, and it is the last thing they're concerned about. So if you guys ever want to ask any of the developers or even the Twitter about the ARG, don't do it. They're not going to give you any sort of hints or clues or any direction of where you should go. Trust everything that Sombra has given you from now on. That's what I believe. At any rate, we tried our best to solve everything. We had cardinal directions that we just didn't know what to do with. Nobody knew, and we all just sort of descended into madness. We couldn't really do anything with it, and then suddenly, because Sky Code was getting incredibly popular with the Game Detectives and everybody else, Sombra literally stepped up and said, hey guys, that's kind of stupid, it's not that. Now, she didn't actually say that. Actually, I have what she said right here, so give me a moment. Right, so what had happened was there was this strange image that appeared in Blizzard's official Overwatch website, and it was just an image of Dorado, just a generic image of Dorado, only with it just looked glitch. It looks wrong, as you can see right here. So when the Game Detectives went ahead and mirrored this image, not necessarily mirrored, but they placed that same image on top of this image, and they came out with a clue, a new clue, and it was a sentence. I think it was in actually it was in ASCII, I think, at first, or in hex or something like that, and this translated to a Spanish sentence which read, ¿Por qué están mirando al cielo? La respuesta no está sobre tu cabezas, está detrás de ustedes. A veces necesitan analizar sus logros previos. So that necessarily means, why are you looking at the sky? Why the fuck are you looking at the sky? The answer does not lie above your heads, it is behind you. Sometimes you just need to look through your past achievements. That is essentially what the whole thing was. That's all we got. It was just a little nudge into the right direction because so many people were into Sky Code. Now, keep in mind, at this point in time, a lot of people, and I mean like 80% of the people that were working on this, were very much against Sky Code and didn't believe that Sky Code was a thing. But there were some people who would suggest to go back to Sky Code, and I think even though this was a bit of a late message, I think it was very necessary for Sombra or anybody from Blizzard to just tell us Sky Code was not a thing, because at this point in time there weren't any clues that led us back to anything else. So there were too many people who were like, maybe we should go back to Sky Code once, you know, we were desperate enough. But thankfully we were officially told not to look for things in the sky, so literally Sky Code died right there. I mean, Sky Code was so beyond insane. I cannot wait to see what Sombra Easter egg is gonna show up with that fucking Sky Code. Somebody literally made a song out of the Sky Code. It was just artifacting. Whatever. I went into this rant last time. Y'all know my opinion on that. Okay. But we have a brand new code that just appeared today. So people had noticed in their profiles, in their Battle.net profiles on Overwatch, they had this strange question mark achievement, as you can see right here. It was just a random achievement that just appeared out of nowhere. So obviously, immediately people thought, okay, this is Sombra related. How can it not be? It's just so blatantly obvious. So when people inspected that image, they got this message right here, which is in Spanish, which I'm about to read to you again in shitty Spanish form. Yay. Alright, so what it says is: vientos, nada mal, no obstante me aburro, intentemos algo nuevo en la misma dirección. So what that translates to is roughly, good, not bad, but I am getting bored. Let's try something in the same direction. And then afterwards there was a bunch of scribbly nonsense right there. It's just absolutely meaningless. But when people looked into it, they got a video. And that video was a simple Zenyatta, just gameplay. Nothing special, not even a trailer, it's just gameplay. But when people inspected it even more, people had realized that this video was different. Hey everyone, quick update just so I don't spread misinformation. The following things I say about this video are complete nonsensical. It is just a coincidence that the code leads to that specific video. It has been debunked. There is no correlation between this video and the Sombra ARG for now, and I don't think that it will correlate with the Sombra ARG. So you can ignore what I'm about to say. But since I am conceited and I really love the sound of my voice, I'm just going to leave this in regardless. So, yeah, just keep that in mind. Okay, love y'all. Now, keep in mind that this video was made a year ago. 1 whole year ago. And a few months. That doesn't count. It was a year ago, right? Now, many of the people in the game detectives have been disputing over where we could find new clues. And many of those times, someone has always suggested looking back at the old trailers, but never going back further than 2 months, especially not a whole year. Too many people have disputed that, oh no, it wasn't 2 months ago, they probably started this ARG like a few months ago, it can't be a whole year ago. Turns out, it was a whole fucking year ago. But the weird thing is, this video has actually been changed, and I'm not entirely sure on the details on that because there is something very, very odd. Take a look at this photo right here. Actually, no. Take a look at the whole gameplay. As you can see, it's just normal Zenyatta stuff, but there's something extremely odd about the posters right in the theater. If we could take a closer look at these posters right here, you could see that there are blue faces on them. Now underneath, if you're curious as to what that says, I understand it is a little blurry and it can be hard to read, but it says now playing. It's nothing more than that. And that is, to me, very, very creepy. Again, absolute bullshit. Did not change at all. It's nothing. Nope. It's not evidence at all. Please don't think that. Okay. Thanks. And you know, I'm just like here scratching my head. Has it always been that way? A few people have said that the original gameplay has actually just been normal gameplay. It was just a normal poster that you would see in the game. But this gameplay right here has that strange bluish odd thing there. Could this be Sombra's face? It's unclear, really. It could just be just some strange decal that she happened to have thought up and just put there, but at the same time it's just unnerving to see. And I know it's weird for me to get creeped out by this, but this is not only very exciting, but it's also very strange how this has all turned out. Yeah, and it's also very raw. But let's move on, because it's not just the trailer that's changed. You see, that garbled mess of a bunch of characters and letters and numbers and such, they actually equal something else. Now, I'm not totally sure how they got this. I have the Reddit link down in the description below. Go ahead and check it out so you could, understand this more than I can. But to summarize, what happened was there was this cipher that the game detectives went ahead and used, and with a bunch of combinations of the compass directions along with many character names, they deciphered it with something called a Vigener or something cipher. It's a Vigener cipher, right? And they used this key right here to unlock whatever it is they were deciphering. And within this thing that they deciphered was this odd image. Now, this image may seem scrambled up and glitched out and just complete shit and like utterly useless, but actually, if you were to use a Volskaya image and placed it over very, very similar to the first Sombra clue that we had a few days ago, if you were to combine those images, again, you would get hex, and you would unlock a new message from Sombra. Once again, here comes my infamous Spanish. It reads, "Parece que te gustan estos jueguitos. ¿Por qué no jugamos uno de verdad?" Now that translates to, "It seems you like these little games. Why don't we play a real one?" So there's something I haven't mentioned in these past videos that has always been very fleeting to my mind, but I think is kind of important. The way she's talking. It is a very Mexican Spanish dialect. It's actually Mexican Spanish. Now, a lot of people could argue about this all day. I mean, all the game detectives have been arguing it's not actually Mexican Spanish. It could be Spaniard Spanish, disregarding the fact that there are other places that speak Spanish, like Cuba or like Puerto Rico or Dominican Republic, whatever. Those don't exist. It's just Mexico and Spain, right? But it's a very... it resembles a Mexican dialect. But not only that, now obviously, of course, we know Sombra is Mexican, right? Not only that, but we also got this skull right here, made in ASCII. And in Mexican tradition, there have always been fascinations with death and the afterlife. Now, of course, you probably know that with the Day of the Dead being probably the most popular Mexican festival, ever. But there's also some strange sort of thing about the way she talks. Sombra talks in a very playful way. It's just the way she says jueguitos, instead of saying juego, just a game, she says a little game. She says it in such a playful little way. Even the first message that I read before was done in such a playful little way, like a carefree, cocky kind of way. It really brings out that kind of personality that she might have as a character. She's just a cocky, bratty, playful hacker girl, It's just it's just I love it. I love it so much because it shows that Blizzard actually is putting thought into this ARG. Anybody, okay, not anybody, but a lot of people can just make an ARG and just put a puzzle here and a puzzle here. But the fact that she is taunting us and calls us boring and says that we want to play a game and blah 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 blah, the way she talks and interacts with us as a community, this sort of interaction molds her character. It makes her, it gives us a real good preview of who she is. Now, this has been a very fascinating kind of ARG, and it's still ongoing. So if you would like to help the game detectives, look them up. They're available for anyone. Try not to overwhelm them with too many memes or like past suggestions. Trust me, they're all incredibly cranky right now, so try not to be too mean to them, and they'll try not to be too mean to you back. But if you don't want to really, you know, be a part of that kind of community, you don't really like that kind of stuff, then just subscribe to me and I'll just relay back any information that they have. I know they probably don't like that because of the fact that, oh, he's just taking the credit for solving this. I'm not solving shit, dude. I'm just observing this. It's very fascinating. I like it a lot. So if I'm not welcome in that kind of community, then okay, fine, but I'll still deliver this kind of stuff because it's really, really fascinating. Now, the ARG, like I said, is still ongoing. There is still so much to decipher. And there are so many clues that we probably have never found. And that tracer clue has yet to be solved. So we still need the password for that. So if any of you, like I said, want to help, links will be in the description below. And yeah, alright guys, this has been one wild ride. It has been very, very interesting, and I am so happy to be a part of this community. It is wonderful. Thank you all so very, very much for watching. Thank you all for the subs, and I will see you all next time. I love you all so very much. Bye.